And where down we go, oh, 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 where down we go, oh, 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 so where down we go,
All right, Belal. So let's get into your roots and identity, right? Let's get into where you come from. So before we talk about titles in the UFC, I want to go back to where it all started. Can you tell us about where you're from?
Yeah, so I'm from the south side of Chicago. Went to school at Bogan High School. If you're from Chicago, you know the area. Obviously, parents from Palestine, the Beta. So Palestinian blood running through me. Growing up in that type of household, growing up with that type of family, it's different. We don't have the same type of normal childhood. My dad was one of the guys that like worked 12-hour days, long shifts. Mom was a stay-at-home. She was more of a discipliner. But religion was a big part of our household. Being Muslim is part of my identity. And even at a young age, I took hold to it. Like there's a lot of kids that don't, or a lot of people that don't become religious till later on in life. But for me, I was very religious early, and I started early, and I just like fell in love with it early. Sports-wise, played basketball. Growing up, obviously Chicago, you get in street fights a lot, but didn't have no
Of course.
type of training at all. Had 2 years of high school wrestling at Bogan High School, and then was just planning to go to college. University of Illinois, was trying to be a lawyer. So that's basically kind of like the origin story.
So when did you make a switch from wanting to become a lawyer to becoming a UFC fighter?
The 2 years I wrestled in high school, I had a really cool coach, Lewis Taylor. And he was one of those coaches that was like younger, and he like meshed well with us. So we had a connection. And then he like left, and I didn't know where he went. But then I found out he ended up becoming a fighter. So he was fighting for Strikeforce, which was like one of the biggest companies at that time. And I just saw him in the newspaper randomly fighting. And I was like, oh, what the heck? He's a fighter. So I messaged him. And I was like, where the heck did you go? And he's like, oh, I became a fighter. So he just felt himself being a high school coach that he still had something left in the tank. So he started training later in life. And I just followed his footsteps. I went to the gym, started learning from him, transferred to UIC closer to the gym, and just started working with him multiple times a week, trying to just like gain knowledge from him. And he became like a mentor that like I wouldn't be here without him. So he's still with me to this day. He became a PFL middleweight champion. So like I said, followed his footsteps, became a UFC champion. So a lot of the stuff that he went through on his come up, all the mistakes that he made, all the stuff that people that he like mistrusted, he like guided me to like stay away from those type of things. So like I owe basically my whole career to him.
So how does one even become a UFC fighter? So you said that you started training, right? Like how does it work? How do you become a UFC fighter?
No, it's not a draft. You basically just wait till you get noticed, right? You start as an amateur fighter, you do your amateur fights, and then when you're ready to go pro, you just make the decision yourself. But your coaches should be the ones that tell you if you're ready or not. Because once you go pro, that's when your record counts. As an amateur, none of your fights count. Your wins, your losses, none of that really matters. As an amateur, it's just so you get your ring time in, cage time in, you get comfortable getting hit, getting punched, seeing how you react to those things. Once you turn pro, now it all matters. Now it all counts. Now everybody's paying attention. But the bigger stages don't really look at you until you get a bigger record. You're undefeated. You win a title outside of the UFC. So for me, I had to get to 9-0 before even getting looked at by the UFC. As I was coming up, 3-0, 4-0, you're waiting. Nothing's really happening. It's not like the UFC is going to call you. Now it's a lot easier to get into the UFC because they have different avenues. But when I was coming up, you couldn't get into the UFC unless you were a champion outside of the UFC and you were undefeated. Nowadays, they have like Tuesday Night Contender Series. They have the Ultimate Fighter. So there's multiple ways to get in. And even now, there's so many cards that kids are getting in with smaller records, or even worse records. But back in our day, it was like they didn't have as many shows, so you had to get noticed. You had to be worth it for them to take a shot on you. So that's why when I got in, I was like 9-0, and I was like, I'm gonna stop school. I'm gonna go all in on it until we lose or we take a shot at it, right? Because you could chase your dream, and and you can't reach it, right? So there's so many guys out here that are better than me that never made it to the UFC just because they didn't get noticed. There's so many guys out here that are probably good enough to be in the UFC, but didn't want to take a chance on it. So they got a different job. They got other jobs. They didn't want to go all in on it. But for myself, it was like, let's just go all in. And if not, I could fall back on school.
Oh, okay. So you had like a plan B. You had like if everything went to
Yeah, there's always a plan B, right? It's
you
even with
would go
fighting.
back.
There's always going to be a plan B.
Yeah.
There's always like, I got to do this, I got to do that. My mindset is always like, I'm always thinking ahead of different things. Even if I lose, I'm going to do this. If I lose, I'm going to go here. So there was always something to fall back on. But for myself, I hate losing more than anything. So it's still like, if I'm training, I'm going to go all in with it. I'm not going to fake it. I'm not going to go half step it. So like when I work, when I train, I go over and beyond than everybody else. When some guys train with me, they're like, you're crazy. Just because I started late. I started at 23 years old training at all. So I always feel like I'm a step behind. So I have to train multiple times just to catch up to these guys.
Absolutely. So work so hard to the point where you can't lose.
Exactly. And that's the thing about the sport. It's hard, right? Because you could work the hardest you ever worked. You could be the best shape you ever worked, and you can still get knocked out. That's what I love about the sport. It's anything could happen. So, and there's no guarantees. But the only guarantee is if I work hard enough, then there's a slightly better chance that I'm going to win. If I work harder than the next guy, then there's a slightly better chance that I'm ahead of him. And like I said, there's still luck involved. There's still this involved. There's still that involved. But at the end of the day, it's just trusting God. Tawakkal. Everything happens for a reason. There's a reason for everything. And just God's plan. That's all I put in my head. That's how I live my life by, right? Because tomorrow's not promised. You could die today. So go all in today. Get better today.
So you've come such a long way. I mean, you've won a UFC welterweight championship. Like, that is life-changing. So I wanted to ask you, what kind of personal impact did that have on you and your family? Like, did anything really change around you? Were you able to help the people around you more?
Oh, 100%, right? Like, I'm a big family guy, so if I'm able to help my family financially, that's what I do the sport for. I'm not a guy that's flashy. I don't like to buy jewelry or dumb stuff like that. If my family's happy, my mom's happy, then I'm happy. So if I get to take care of my family, that's what I do it for. That's what I train for. That's what I work for. And nobody in my family's ever been where I'm at. So it's not like I could look at these guys and get advice from somebody. So I'm that guy that I got to get the advice from. I'm the guy that I got to work and figure it out as I go. So being where I was or where I am, it's just still a learning process myself. It's still trying to figure it out. It's still trying to help any way I can. But, alhamdulillah for everything. We're doing it, and it's just only growing and figuring out other things. So this is going to take me somewhere else, and that somewhere else is going to take me somewhere else. So it's just like, while I do that, I don't want to lose the people around me that have been with me since the beginning.
And more so, you also are helping not just your family. You're also helping this little boy that I always see with you, Jude.
Yeah, I mean, my sister, she works with PCRF, Palestinian Children Relief Fund. And obviously they brought Jude in for medical treatment here, and he's with my mom basically every day and at my family's house every day. And it's just crazy because you get to see what these kids should live like. When you see a kid like him who's from Gaza, that they're like being tortured, they're being starved, they're being killed every single day. And then you see him here, he's smiling, he's laughing, he's playing with other kids. That's what a normal childhood should be like. That's what a normal kid should have to worry about, is like, oh, she's yelling at me because I didn't tie my shoe, or she's yelling at me because I didn't eat my vegetables, right? So like when I post them and I show them, it's more so to show them that these are humans. These are regular kids, the kids that you have at your house that you're trying to, take care of and help grow up and build. Like, those kids are still in Gaza, and the people are ignoring them, and people that wanted to shy away and say it's like, it has nothing to do with me. It does have something to do with you. These are real human beings that are dying, real human beings that are being starved, that are being killed every single day. And that's what I'm trying to show them, that Jude's a normal kid. There's thousands of normal kids there in Gaza that need the same attention that he's getting here.
Yeah, it's so sad what's happening. It's inhumane. It doesn't make sense. How can this happen in such a modern society? Would you agree that, like, you becoming as accomplished as you are with a following as much as you have, would you agree that it's helped you shed more light about what's happening in the world, what's happening in Palestine?
100%, right? Because nobody looks at you, nobody pays attention to you until you have a platform. They don't care about what you have to say unless you have 1 million followers. So now that I do have that following and I am posting about it, then now I'm getting people that want to be educated on it. When I first got into the UFC, I had Al Jazeera like article on me, and I brought it up, and that was 8 years ago. And it's not like it just happened 2 years ago, right? This thing's been going on for 70 years, 80 years, but I've been talking about it since I got into the UFC, but nobody really cared about it until right now. Now they're like, oh wait, he's walking with the flag. I've been walking with the flag since I got into the UFC, but they weren't paying attention. Now I got more followers. Now I got a bigger name. Now they're paying attention. They're realizing, wait, what song does he walk out to? What is he doing? What is he talking about? They only listen to you when they feel like they can gain something from you, right? They only listen to you when they feel that you're somebody. So for myself, I've always been talking about it, and now I got to talk about it more because I got that platform now. Now people are actually listening, and even the UFC fighters now are wanting to know what's going on there. So when you explain to them and they realize it, then they'll post about it, and then they'll send me their DMs like, hey, look at this. These guys are all yelling at me, telling me this. I just want world peace, right? But they're afraid to post about it again after that because then you'll have the backlash. There's always going to be those backlash and those Twitter trolls that are going to just want to come at you when they're saying you're picking a side. But it's not picking a side. It's picking life. These people deserve to live. Just because they were born in Gaza doesn't mean they're less than us. Just because they were born there doesn't mean that they deserve to die. They don't deserve to eat real food, play in school, have recess. Everybody over there deserves a normal life. And the corrupt leaders that we have, the world leaders that we have, are just watching it. It just shows you how evil these people are and how money hungry they are. And they may be the richest people in the world, but they're like the biggest prisoners to themselves. And they're prisoners to the money. They're not really happy inside. They're just disgusting, evil people.
It's the world that we live in. There's right now these world leaders that they're the ones that are in power, but my generation is going to be the next people in power. That's partially why I created this talk show, this podcast, in order to educate the younger generation. So when we do become world leaders, we never allow this to happen again. So is there any humanitarian projects you want to talk about, anything you want to shout out so I could put it in the description below? We talked about PCRF. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, I mean, PCRF is actually doing a run for peace. It's the 5K. They're doing it September 14th. So if you're in the Chicagoland area, make sure you guys sign up and do it. And then I work a lot with Pious Projects, another charity that shows the proof that they're doing when they're over there, when they're giving out food, when they're handing out money. There's a lot of charities here where people are like, oh, I don't trust it, right? I don't know what they're doing with the money. Pious Project shows you what they do with the money. And even as a Muslim, as people hesitate to donate, right? It's all about your intention. If your intention is to donate, to help, just do it. Don't sit there and try to pick and choose and avoid donating because you're like, oh, these people are all crooks. At the end of the day, it's Allah's will. If it's meant to get out to the people, it's going to get to the people. So just donate regardless. And PCRF and Pious are the two biggest ones that I work with and I deal with and I trust.
So, I mean, you're such a big role model for these younger kids, especially my generation, these Arab Muslims, these Palestinians. I mean, you carry the public eye for us. So how do you navigate that responsibility? Do you feel any pressure because all eyes are on you? You have the biggest voice, honestly, in this cause for our generation.
No, I don't feel that as pressure, right? It's just when you do have that platform, you do it, when you are that person, when you do get light shine on you, it's like your true self comes out. And like I said, being raised Muslim, it's just who I am. I'm not going to be fake. I'm not going to show a different side of myself. I'm going to show what the religion is. Obviously, I'm going to support my people in Palestine and be a voice for them and help them and do everything I can do to shine a light on them. But I'm not a guy that goes out parties. I'm not a guy that has really anything where I'm trying to hide from people. So that's why I'm really not afraid, or I don't fake anything when I am out in the public. So I don't see it as a pressure. For me, I see guys and I look at guys and I looked up to guys when I'm coming up as Habib and these guys, and I saw what they did for the religion and how they brought it into the public eye. And it's just trying to do the same thing, right? Shining a light on it and showing the world how pure it is and how peaceful the religion is.
Mentioning Khabib and these other guys who have really shed light on our religion, I mean, they are champions too. You're a champion too. So I want to kind of jump back to the UFC. Has your mindset changed because you've become champion, or has it stayed the same?
Me, I'm always a guy that looks what's next. I don't even, but even winning the belt, it was like, all right, who's next? Who's next? Who's next? I always, in this sport, it's your last fight is your biggest fight, and your next fight is the Super Bowl. So no matter what it is, who it is, your next fight's always your biggest fight. So for me, it's always just training and getting better and growing, and especially now, we lost the belt, so now it's all right. I'm not worried about getting it back. I'm worried about winning the next fight. Once I win the next fight, then we could talk about the belt. But at the end of the day, it's you got to win your next fight. That's all that matters. That's all people really look at. How did your last fight go? They don't care about your full record, how long it's been, or whatever. They just care about your next fight and how you do with it.
So don't look at the end. Look at the steps that you take and go all in for each step of the way, and eventually you'll get to the end. It's perfect. So
Exactly.
we saw the fight against Jack. I mean, do you personally feel that the outcome was fair?
It doesn't really matter, right? Like you could sit there, you could pout, you could cry, you could say whatever you want. But at the end of the day, it's God's will. I go into every fight, and it's not, oh man, please Allah, give me this victory. I worked so hard for it. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Like, why did you do this to me? I suddenly I do this, I do that. No, it's meant to happen. I've had losses where I know and I look back at it and I think, oh man, I learned so much from it. They're like,
Exactly.
Tawakal, it happens for a reason. That happened for a reason. This fight, we lost. It happened for a reason, right? Maybe I'm getting protected from something, or I would have got bigger headed or bigger this, but at the end of the day, it's the next fight that matters. And just taking that loss and growing from it. Like you could take that loss and you could give excuses for that loss, or you could say this and that, and you'll never get better. You'll just sit on the sideline, be depressed, and be the victim. But I'm not. That fight doesn't matter anymore. It's about the next one and getting better and growing from it. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. It's a continuous journey.
So what I'm hearing is that losses are better than wins. It allows you to learn from your mistakes, and the most important part after loss is to move on from loss, to take everything you learned and to be better.
Yeah, you don't learn nothing from wins. When you're
Yeah,
winning, everything's good. Everybody's clapping around you. From losses, you learn who's really with you, who really cared about you, who cares about your health more than anything. They don't care about the shine you're gonna get or what they could gain from you. It's like, all right, you stuck with me here. Now I know you're really here for the right reasons. I lost here. I gained this from that loss. And if you look for excuses, you're never gonna gain anything.
so taking what you said about learning from loss, after the Jack Madalena fight, what do you think is the biggest thing you've taken away from that?
That you're not invincible. There's nobody here that's untouchable. So you still got to get better. You still got to grow, and that's what we're gonna do.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, your style is absolutely relentless. It's smart movements, some of the best takedown defenses in UFC history. I mean, how do you maintain that through all 5 rounds? Like, how do you maintain that focus?
Like I said, for me, it's we overwork. I'm always I'd rather be overtrained than undertrained. And then when I go into a fight, there's no like stone on left unturned, and it's the heart of the Palestinian blood in me, where we're stubborn. No matter what happens, we're gonna keep going until the end.
Exactly. All right, so let's get to the question that every fan wants to know. I mean, it would be crazy if, like, on a 17-year-old's podcast, you were to say where you're going to fight next. But could you give any hints, like, as to what's coming? I mean, you've kind of been hinting at it on social media.
There's nothing booked yet, right? So it's waiting for it to get booked. Obviously, I want Usman. That's the fight that makes the most sense. But at the end of the day, they have to say yes. The UFC wants it.
Absolutely.
I want it. But Usman come up with excuses, and that's the game we plays, right? Like everybody could wait, and you're sitting on your throne for so long, you're ranking for so long, and it's like, do you not want to fight? So for myself, it's just staying ready because anything can happen at any moment.
Absolutely. First and foremost, I want to express a huge thank you to Belal Muhammad for coming onto the podcast and talking to us. But not only is he a champion in the octagon, he's also doing some incredible humanitarian work outside of the octagon. Some of these projects that we talked about include Pious Projects and PCRF, both of whom will be linked in the description below. I also want to take the time to discuss another organization called Med Global, which runs medical mission trips worldwide to places that need humanitarian relief the most. This will also be linked in the description below, so any support would be greatly appreciated. And as always, I'm Dean Darwish, your host, and this is From the Ground Up.